No, I'm not.
But you might have brought this because the day before you got here,
no,
it was 80 degrees.
No, I know. I looked at my app and I said it's gonna be 32 tomorrow. I was not happy, but we all good.
But you're here and you did a phenomenal job, and I think you brought a lot of people together in Colorado. So thank you for that.
Well, that's well, but the point is so here's why we do this.
Yes.
This is not about self-gratification. It's not about just to come to a city have a gathering. The whole point is that when you understand how you can put things together. So, for instance, I know that I'm a magnet.
Right.
I know that black folks will come out and say, we want to meet Roland Martin.
Absolutely.
But my whole deal is, how do you operate as a gatherer?
Uh-huh.
And then when you bring people together, you have a conversation, then it then becomes, okay, how now can we move folks who are here to then come together, mobilize and organize after we leave?
Absolutely.
Ella Baker, you got to read Barbara Rainsby's book on Ella Baker.
Okay.
Ella Baker never did one of her books. She's probably one of our most underappreciated organizers, but she's probably the most important organizer because her history stretches from progressive movements in New York all the way through NAACP, all the way through SCLC, through SNCC. I mean, just throughout.
Right.
Ella Baker and MLK had friction because Dr. King believed in pulpit to pew.
Right.
Ella Baker believed in pew to pulpit.
Absolutely.
And so you got to be able to bring people together, break down people who have these thoughts about charter schools, whatever.
Absolutely.
And then they go, oh, I didn't know all of that. And now you can go to the next level in terms of how we can work together. And that's the whole point of this as we're traveling around the country, is to bring black folks together, talk about these aspects, and get them. So basically this is mobilize.
Right.
Then it's, okay, I need them to get together to organize.
Absolutely.
And then go to the next step.
And they need to organize within the next 30 days because don't you believe it'll be lost if that doesn't happen?
Absolutely. But here's the other piece though. I don't need everybody in the room to do it.
Absolutely.
If 10 people in this room leave here and say, we're going to commit ourselves together to putting together an entity to begin to address black education in the greater Denver area, that's fine.
That's it.
Because the problem is when we wait for consensus.
Absolutely.
Oh, this group, no.
Then we'll never move forward.
I'm a work with who's here.
Yeah.
And then build off of that.
I think, and I love that you challenge everybody to get something like a SNCC, where it's a real collaborative effort. I think that's what we're feeling most. Was there anything about Denver that stood out amongst the places that you've been to?
No, it's the same.
Same conversation.
I'm telling you, everywhere I go, people are like, man, you don't understand. People here different. No, they not. Yeah. No, they not. Every single city we've been to, we've had. I mean, it's the same, and it is people who are passionate about the issue. But it's also breaking through them mentally to begin to see that there's more than just one way.
Absolutely.
So like, for instance, so when someone was like, well, why aren't you fighting for this? I'm like, because I picked this lane.
Right. And we all have something to fight. And we all have to pick our lane.
Right. So my deal is,
and
so I get it all the time. They're like, Roland, I don't see you going hard for traditional schools like you do for charter schools. I'm like, yeah, because it's a bunch of y'all who already do.
Right?
And because what I'm seeing is, that what's available, what's needed right here. So that's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
And they're not understanding that. What Wisdom said at the end was so important when he said, I'm in control of 45 million.
Yes.
See,
and that is the goal. I think when people forget that.
I was at a group of, it was a meeting, national meeting of school board members, and I spoke to the black school board members. So it's like 1,000 people in this room.
Right.
I walk in that room, it's 95% against charter schools.
And when you walked out there,
45 minutes later, I flipped that room, cats walk up to me, man, you totally changed my mind, because they had bought into all this other stuff.
Absolutely.
But when I said, you control the curriculum,
right,
you control the hiring, you control the contracts,
absolutely,
they were school board members who didn't understand that. So again, their only system is, we need to get black people up for the school board, which I support.
Absolutely.
XQ America is about to launch an initiative to do that. But I'm saying, okay, that's Sister Jennifer. She's on the school board.
Right.
But what? Is 3 black people on the school board? They trying to fight. They trying to fight the good fight. I'm saying, wait a minute, but if I can take over 5, 10, 15 schools,
Winning.
20 schools, all of a sudden, I'm now in control of thousands of our children, millions of dollars of the budget. And then I'm determining how it's spent and what I perform. See, that's
the big picture.
And that's the piece. And so when we break that down, folks go, man, I never thought about that.
Absolutely.
Because guys like Wisdom, I'm telling you, I have met brothers and sisters like him all across the country. They are frustrated with the existing system and they're checking out.
Yeah.
I need them to stay in, but to create their own thing that gives them the freedom and autonomy. It's no different than what I'm doing with Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Okay.
When TV One ended my show, people were like, man, I wish you'd go to MSNBC or go back to CNN. I was like, why?
I want to go back.
I said, I was a contributor for CNN for 6 years. It was great.
Absolutely.
I said, I filled in for Campbell Brown, but I didn't run the show.
Right.
I didn't control the show. I didn't control the content. I didn't control who got booked on the show.
Absolutely.
I had input, but I didn't control it.
And now you do.
Right. Now my TV One show, I controlled it, but that was still decisions that they made. Now with my show, I control all of it. I control all spending, all stores. I control who gets on. I control how long they get on. If I choose to have you on for 45 minutes, I ain't got to ask nobody.
Yeah.
And if somebody in my staff
have
get,
that
and
control.
if somebody else says, Roland, I don't think she's worth 45 minutes, it ain't your call.
Because you get to make those calls.
And that's this. It's the same thing.
Absolutely. We have to put each other in a position to have these leadership roles. What do you think made you so passionate about education? Where did this come from?
Oh, it's very simple. I mean, that is, look, I had two parents that never went to college, but look, they made it clear to all 5 of their kids, no, you're behind on getting educated. Because this is the pathway. Look, my parents have never made more than $50,000 combined a year in their life. Last month, I did 51,000 in speeches. Now, think about that. My parents collectively had never made more than 50 grand. They 72. They've never made more than $50,000 as a couple ever in a year in their life. Education put me in the position that I am in right now. That's how my parents are retired, living in the home that I purchased, that I lived in, that I paid off. My sister and her child is living there. The resources has allowed me to do that. My wife and I are raising 3 of my nieces. We've actually raised 6 of my nieces off and on 6 or 7 times since they've been here. So again, education put me in that position. I understand what education can do. My problem is I'm looking, and again, for somebody who's watching, they need to understand something. I ain't all public schools, nothing private.
Thank you. Clear that up.
Traditional, grew up in a black neighborhood, all black schools, elementary school, middle school, high school, black church, all this sort of stuff. We were not rich. We were not, I would probably say we were not poor. We were not, we probably were on the bottom edge of middle class.
Yeah.
But that's what we were. But we had a nice life. We appreciated what we had.
Absolutely.
But I understand what education, how that has elevated my life, which in turn has now changed the life of my nieces, which means that my nieces are going to be in an even greater position than I was. So that means that they should be able to go higher than I've gone, which means us raising them, what my parents did with us,
Right.
and then what we're now doing with my nieces, means that's going to have an impact on their children. So
That's generational.
right. So what my parents did with us education-wise has a direct impact on their great-grandchildren.
Wow.
And see, we don't think in terms of legacy like that.
And we should.
And that's why, for me, this is important, because I want, 25 years from now, I want a group of black kids who are in Denver to say, man, I'm sure glad a group of black people met at the Potter's House, Denver,
Yes.
came together and said, we're going to do something about educating black kids.
I love that. For the people that are in the trenches that are doing the work, what is the one piece of advice you could give them?
Very simple. That is, you have to appreciate small victories. The problem that we have is somebody will say, man, this room should have been packed.
Yeah.
First of all, the room was packed.
Yeah.
Man, every seat should have been filled. No, I appreciate everybody who showed up. So I don't sweat who didn't show up. If 10 people, if we had 300 chairs in this room, and if 10 people showed up, I would have talked to those 10. Because those 10 could potentially do more in the 300. So people don't appreciate small successes. Dr. King, they all understood you had to constantly affirm people and show small success, and appreciate small success, because that builds morale. And people go, man, we're seeing progress. All too often, we say, man, we only raised $400.
Only.
You know that's $400 more than we had yesterday.
Right.
Okay, it don't matter if we needed 1,000.
Exactly.
Now we
that much closer.
Now we just need 600.
Yes.
So I'm appreciate the fact that we raised $400.
Yes.
That's the piece. When you're mobilizing and organizing, you have to appreciate the small successes, because that's how you build on and then get to the large successes.
I love it. And your best statement, Roland Martin's Black School Choice is what?
Roland Martin's school choice is the Black choice. It's all about Black self-determination. Period.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming to Denver.
Thanks a bunch.
Sir.
All right.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm here with the one and only Roland Martin. It's your girl, Shay J from the Brother Jeff Network, the Free Think Zone. Super excited to have you. First of all, thank you for being in Colorado and visiting us in the Mile High.
Glad to be here. Too cold, so I'm leaving.
I knew you were going to say something like that. The weather's
No,
not
seriously,
that great.
I was not trying to. Okay, I like this kente that I had made in Ghana in 2008. I was not trying to wear it this early. Okay?
This is real.
No,
Welcome.
I'm not.
But you might have brought this because the day before you got here,
No,
it was 80 degrees.
no, I know. I looked at my app and I said it's gonna be 32 tomorrow. I was not happy, but we are.